Well, they always got one guy, and then they got one pacer.
Yeah.
They got one pacer.
Yes.
He's like in a deep squat, and then he goes up and down the sideline.
Yes, dude.
They're like basically the East Coast kids who try to act like they're from California too. They're the same way.
But South Carolina would have to be my least favorite state to play volleyball in.
He's never like fully on his seat. His back will never touch the back of a seat, but he's like always on the edge of it and like half in that squat, like you said. You can handle the heat. Yeah. You can handle the heat.
Booyaka Shell, welcome back to another episode of Can't Handle the Heat. It's your boy G Swizz. Before I introduce my two other hosts here, just want to say we love you guys. And make sure, if you want to support us, hit that subscribe button. Turn the notifications on. Because if every week you want to see these pretty faces all around the campfire, talking volley, you turn the notifications on. With that being said, to my left, I have the Jokesy.
What's up, everybody?
How we doing, everyone? How you doing, Jokesy?
Doing great.
Good, man. All the way in the southernmost part of Europe, we have the Micah Ma'a. Micah, how we doing, brother?
Top of the morning to you guys. Top of the morning.
Good man. Good man. If it is the morning somewhere, then top of the morning to you. With that being said, we just want to give a quick shout out to our friends and sponsors of the show, allvolleyball.com. Again, club volleyball is coming around. It is around. It's here. Guess what? Nationals is coming around. 1,000 teams are signed up. If you want to stand out, if you want to have sick jerseys, if you want to be able to trade the sickest of jerseys, you might have to up your game. And there's no better place than to go to allvolleyball.com. Congratulations. We're paying you with the Gwiddy code, with the promo code Gwiddy, Gwiddy, for 20% off. Congrats. We're paying you to Gwiddy and to look fly in the volleyball court. Link in the bio. Let's get into it, boys. Do you want to kind of give the basis of what we had, our idea for the podcast here, or no?
Let's just get straight into it today.
All right. So what we decided to go through every single state, all 50 states in America. And whether it's through our contact, through our grass, beach, indoor, overseas, doesn't matter. All our contact in the volleyball world, we want to give a stereotype for each single state. So we went through all 50 states. We made a list. Now, unfortunately, not every state is there because I don't think any of us have ever met a player from Alaska or ever met a volleyball player from New Mexico. Now, obviously, if you play women's volleyball, you're going to run into these people more often. But since we're guys volleyball players, maybe we don't have as much interaction with these types of players. So if your state's not on there, if certain states are not on there, we apologize. But that's just because we haven't had access or interactions with these people. So without further ado, I'm going to read off, I would say, about half the states. I'd say we hit 25 states, I would say. But we went through all of them. We made sure. We went through every single one of them to make sure that, okay, do we have any serious interaction with the people? So I'm going to go state by state, alphabetical order, go around the room here. I'm going to talk about the stereotypes we give to each state here. All right, starting with number 1, Arizona. What are the stereotypes for Arizona? Joe, you go first.
Arizona, for what I've seen recently, is they think they can compare to California teams, and they just can't. I don't know. They always talk like they can, but I've seen recently that they just can't hang. The Balboas of the world, the 949s. You know, I've been out of the club world for a significant amount of time, but I still know when I peek my head in, they are the most dominant teams, the California teams. Even Beta Bay's up there nowadays, and so Arizona teams, you know, you see a lot. They're big, they're physical, but
very big.
It's the ball control. It's the ball control that a lot of times is the difference between them and some of the other states. Not on the beach, I guess. Maybe that's why.
That's true.
That's
that is
what
true.
I was gonna
on
say.
The beach.
That's what I was gonna say. I would say it's like there's good players. Obviously, there's a lot less than the Californias. But there is like a good pocket of volleyball in Arizona that there are good players, but they are lacking the like volleyball savviness that the Californians have, that the Hawaiians have. So I'd say that's their kind of like their Achilles heel because they're physical. They usually have some guys that can like bounce the ball, but the like technical aspects. Shout out to JT Hatch though, probably most technical
He's gonna
Arizona
be mad about this.
volleyball player I've ever met. One of the most technical players I've played with. So he's representing Arizona.
I think there's gonna be a lot as this list goes on. There's gonna be a lot
this
of
list
shade
is
of
gonna
the indoor
we're gonna
beach
catch some
volleyball people out there.
cracks. First, like note is that I'm kind of going for this is a stereotype, you know, like it's not.
Exactly.
This is not all of you. If you're from a place that we speak about and you're not like that, then we apologize. But this is us just freaking talking about stereotypes and like playing them up to whatever they can be.
But yeah, I would agree with what you guys are saying on that. They're tall and just lack the beach savviness that carries into the indoor game as well. Number 2, the Cali boys, California. So you want to start again?
California boys, they're the top teams, and they know it, and they act like it. And so it's always nice to see, you know, those teams lose every once in a while because I think it humbles them a little bit. But beach boys, you know, a lot of those SoCal kids, they come straight off the beach all day. They go practice a little bit. They practice a couple times before nationals. They roll out there, and they roll over most teams. But they're probably most hated. I would say the most hated teams always.
And the most respected.
And the most respected. So that's how I would describe those teams.
Because I remember we interviewed a lot of people, and a lot of them were like, hey, what's the top state? And obviously, you know, I like to gaslight a little. I like to push them. Maybe there's some kids from, like, Nevada. And I'm like, hey, man, what about Nevada, bro? Show some love to Nevada. But they're like, nah, Cali's the best. Or, you know, they say it like, oh, man. But, like, they know it, but they still want to put the biggest thing they always say is, like, we want to put blah, blah on the map or something like that. But they know California's top.
Yeah. That is true. California, I would actually split it in two because it's such a big difference between SoCal and NorCal. I think the Southern California kids are like, somehow they're the cool kids in their school. And so like they walk around like that, and like they're on the beach and maybe partaking in activities that are not meant for under 18-year-olds. And like they have this like cool boy, blonde hair, surfer boy attitude. And then NorCal for me is like actually a little bit geekier, like misfits that didn't like find like the sports that were, I guess, in NorCal more popular, and kind of got like forced into volleyball and found a little community that like accepted them. And so they're like less cocky. They're a little bit more like intelligent usually. They do well. They do a lot better than the SoCal kids in school for sure. I don't know why I feel like this, but I definitely, that's got to be true. So yeah, I split that into like two different categories.
That's a good point. Alrighty. And like I said, we just talked about guys, and like I said, a lot of our instances are with guys, but there are like some states where we had more instances and run-ins with girls from the states. But for right now, it's been guys. Number 3, Colorado. Colorado's like a state where, and I guess these are similar to other states, but it's always like, I started off playing with the girls volleyball team in the middle school or the high school, and then like,
on the head, bro.
And then we have one player from 8 hours away. I have another player from 9 hours away. We practice for 3 days, and then we just give it our all in the tournament. You know,
that's exactly what Colorado volleyball is for boys.
I think
They
think
don't have high school volleyball. I think still.
yeah, they do.
but it's also the player's son who's a setter. You know,
yeah.
I mean the
For sure.
coach's son who's a setter.
Yes.
That gets all these
Dude,
players.
and also like, dude, that is so spot on. It's actually
The coach's
that
son
is
is
so spot on because I worked
Or
with
daughter.
I worked with a kid. I worked with a kid from Colorado, and literally is like the setter, the best player on the team, convincing all these people from like hours away to drive and join their one team. And shout out to you, Tyler Stewart, really good player on the come up from Colorado. But that's super true. I don't even have that much more to add besides. Also, you get like a little sprinkle of like they're closer than other states that have the same thing going on to the West Coast. So they have even more of like that little bit of like envy / like experience. Like maybe their parents like moved to Colorado or like had played some beach volleyball, or like there's a little.
They play in the
more
mother load
volleyball
every
tied
summer
in than just like somebody randomly finding it.
Yeah. And I think also the only way girls know it is because they have to travel there for a big tournament. They just host a big tournament. They don't know
Colorado's a big
anything
girls'
maybe about.
community.
Maybe they don't know a whole lot about the girls volleyball scene in Colorado. They just know that they have to go there for a big tournament every year. The Crossroads.
Good point.
What's
All right.
next?
Next state, Florida. So Florida, Joe, you want to start with this one?
Florida definitely has that Latin flair.
Oh, yeah.
You have that Miami vibrant, just vibe. Dude. I think
They're trendsetters, man. They always got, obviously it started with Ocean Bay,
Vamos!
right? And then it started to like, everyone has these like flamingo
they all
pink,
got flamingos
just
on their
wild,
jerseys. Yeah.
wildness.
They go
Bright
for
colors.
it on the court. They go for it starting with the jerseys.
Headbands. They got a lot of headbands.
There's nothing quiet about a Florida team.
They got
Yeah.
aloha shirts a lot of time.
Bro, I saw one guy walk
Nothing
in one
quiet about
time.
them.
One guy walked in. He was like in a full like, he had his jersey, but on top of his jersey, he had aviators on. He had the beach straw hat. He had the jersey on, but on top of the jersey, buttoned up, was a button flamingo on top of the flamingo jersey, and he had khaki pants with Vans on, with his shorts, his board shorts underneath them as well. So that's how he'd walk in with style. I don't know where he was coming from, the cabana, or I don't know where he was coming from, but he would walk in with style. And like I said, there's nothing very dull about when the Florida boys walk in.
The other thing about Florida teams is a lot of like the Midwestern East Coast teams. I think they mistake the Florida teams for California teams a lot too. For people who don't know California teams, they're like, "Oh, that must be California team." Like, no, that's definitely not.
But they don't have. They always like. They always maybe have one or two, like, tall, tan, blonde kids, maybe max. The rest of them are like red hair, black hair, like you said, the Latino flair. They're actually a pretty diverse team usually. Like they might be one of the most diverse teams.
All the girls
They might
teams
be
I
the most
see
diverse team.
on TikTok, obviously super tan. It's like the super tan team, probably from Florida. See that a lot.
That's a good point.
Like really tan. That's one thing. Florida kids, they get way more tan than I think a lot of other.
Maybe because they're more ethnic too. Something to take in. All right, next state here, Hawaii. To yours truly, Micah. You want to start off with this one or no?
No. I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
You want to go, Joe?
I could say Hawaii. Everybody's always like, oh, everybody wants their jerseys. First of all, that's a big one. Everybody wants the Hawaii kids jerseys, and they just want to. And Hawaii kids, they're always the ones. The moms are always having macadamia nuts. Everybody, you know that you're getting some macadamia nuts when you play these teams, and these guys just look like they woke up straight out of bed. Always, these teams always look like they just came straight out of bed.
So
Like, just
true.
the hair is a mess. Always the Hawaii teams, and then they come and just smoke, and you get smoked by them a lot of times.
I would say that they're always also like the coolest guys. I'll be honest with you. Like they're like the
They're
coolest
the actual
guys.
coolest guys.
Yeah.
California, they act like they're the coolest guys, but Hawaii's actually the coolest guys.
And they don't act like it. Like they
they
go
act
in,
like they got out of bed.
100%. And they're also getting to a point where the conversation is now what's the best volleyball state. Hawaii is the top two up there with them in California for sure. And in terms of producing players and teams, maybe they're not. It's a small island, so they don't have as much people to choose from. But in terms of producing talent, so they go in there. They also have a lot of swagger to them, but it's not like a fake swagger. It's not like I'm better than you. I know. They just like kind of put some respect on my name, but at the same time, they're like the coolest guys. So nothing but love for the Hawaii boys.
What about girls? Micah, you would know more. Your sisters.
What's the
Boy,
guys too?
girls? I mean, a team full of like, same on the guys side. A team full of people that you could take from any position and make them like a pretty decent libero.
That's a good
The
point.
girls,
A
and
lot of
then maybe,
liberos
like,
coming out of Hawaii.
if you get a stick, like if you get like anybody that's over 6'3" from Hawaii, they're gonna be legit.
Good
They're
point.
gonna have ball control.
They get picked up by Texas. They get picked up by that's true.
Yeah.
I can name off. There were 3 girls, all different positions. I was working with at a club there. None of them were liberos in college. All of them turned liberos. In D1, high D1 schools too.
Yeah,
so
that's what
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Next state, Iowa. Now we had a lot more run-ins with Iowa girls than guys. Guys, I think it's also kind of one of those things where it's like, if you play for Iowa,
Dude, you know, I got to add a sentence about Hawaii too. They always bring their whole families too. Hawaii, always the entire families are there too.
That's true.
I forgot about that as well. Always the Hawaii, but sorry.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. But Iowa's also one of those states where those kids, like for the guys, they travel out of state to go play on a team. They're never in state. Now guys volleyball is growing, but there's not, and I'm sure there's one team there, but traveling a lot out of state. But the girls there, that we've kind of ran into, this is one I'd say we have like pretty least amount of like contact with, but obviously we we are running a clinic, and we ran one last year. Make sure you link in the bio if you want to sign up.
When you think of Iowa, there's nothing there, and these kids are the most just like down to earth, humble kids ever. And that's like all Iowa athletes and volleyball players I've run into. The most just easygoing, super hardworking, and there's a lot of high level players that come out of Iowa on the girls' side.
Dude, on the girls' side, they're legit. Also, I think it's another state probably that like, if you're playing as a guy, it's probably like your sister picked it up. You were in the
that's
gym,
a good. Your sister definitely picked it up.
Your sister definitely picked it up first, and your younger brother. There's no older brothers from Iowa that are volleyball players. You went a younger brother to a sister.
Or you went and watched the University of Iowa Hawkeyes women's team, and you got inspired by them, and then you're like, I'm gonna go play men's.
Or you got cut from the wrestling program in Iowa.
Oh,
so then
that's true.
Shout out to what was that college that we were at? The Red Cyclones in Iowa.
Iowa? No,
we were in Iowa for like a month and a half.
Iowa State.
No. It was not Iowa State. It was a different Cyclone.
It'll pop. I have to think more.
We can move on.
Louisiana. Now, more running. We've had, for me, it's been strictly beach volleyball for Louisiana. And for me, it's Evan Corey. Micah, you were actually in New Orleans, were you not?
I was.
I want you to kind of start with that then. What was your kind of stereotype for them?
Oh man, that's a good question.
They love Mardi Gras, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude, they're like, they're not normal, I would say. They're like, they could be anything, but they cannot be a normal guy. That's my stereotype.
And
they have a story. They have a story behind them.
I'm from New Orleans. I play beach volleyball, and like, I work at like a normal 9 to 5. I'm a normal guy. Like, no, you have to have something going on.
That's a good point.
Either some screws loose or just like a different vibe to you. It doesn't have to be screws loose, but like, I feel like it's impossible to just be, for them just to be like super normal.
Like seriously,
which is good too. Shout out to them, because I'm also like that. Like, it's like it's one of my nightmares to be like just normal. If someone's like, he's just normal, like you don't want it. No one should want to be just normal. Like, you want to have your own little spice to it, and they add their own little spice. I will say that.
That's also one of those states is you show up to like a pickup volleyball spot or like a volleyball bar, and it's like one guy's from California, and he just kind of like runs everything there. He's like the best guy there or the best woman there, and everybody else is just kind of like following along. But you just have this one person that moved there from like California, and he's like, yeah, like I found this spot, and then that's the kind of like place that Louisiana I feel like is.
And it's one of those states I'm going to go through. There's a couple other Southeast states that have the most semi-pro players as well.
Oh.
So most people like that are like semi-pros trying to make, you know what I'm saying, moving the way up. Shout out also to Evan Corey. Played a term with him. Nothing but love. Played him in college. Probably the best player out of Louisiana at the moment, other than the LSU girls and what
Amber.
are they? Huh?
Amber. Isn't she
no,
from
Kirsten in
they're also really nice, I would say. Like, if you ever get into a conversation with somebody from New Orleans, I feel like they're very nice. They're very nice people. Very joyous people.
That's true. And they cheer their own. They got pride. All right. Next one. Maryland. Shout out to our cousins and our aunt and our uncle. Live in Maryland, Rockville. Mike, you want to start off with this one?
What do you
Maryland?
Maryland?
I don't know a lot about Maryland volleyball, I'll be honest.
I've had two
that's
interactions. I know Jalen
Okay.
Jasper, and I know Francisco.
Jalen Jasper's from Maryland?
Yeah, and Francesco Sani, and UC Irvine right now, and they're
those guys
both
are
tall,
physical guys.
Yeah, big physical guys, and there's only one player on their team, and they also have one guy that always gets trying to get snagged from other teams from nationals, like teams like Packers that try and get him for nationals.
Shout out to Aaron Russell is from there. Maybe the best Maryland player of all time. And when I watched him, I was like passing by a court. There was one 6'9" guy, like, and 6 Asian dudes, and Aaron was playing middle, and I'd never seen somebody like from the middle do as much as this guy. He was everywhere. He got every ball, like 2 ball, and he was hammering the ball. And everyone's just like, yeah. It was literally just him. So shout out to Aaron Russell.
Next state.
I don't know if you're from
sorry.
Hawaii. Shout out to HBA. 'Cause HBA, it was like an HBA similar vibe going on. We got like a Michael Fisher, like one guy over like 6'5", and then a bunch of like amazing defensive like role players that are just there to like totally do whatever it takes for the team to succeed. That are like all under like 5'10", 5'11", but like amazing technically, and those teams are usually very good. By the way, in juniors,
Because they know the system. They play for the system.
In like in club, oof. If you can get guys that'll buy in, that are really good technically, don't make mistakes, and you got one guy that's like gonna make the difference, that's a dangerous team.
All right. Next state here. Minnesota. For us, obviously, we have girls, but it's mostly been Wapaka, where we met a lot of Minnesotas. Again, same with the guy from most Midwesterners. Very large people, big volleyball community, weekend warriors going out there. I tore both my ACLs and my MCL. I play once a year, and it's this Wapaka. Maybe I don't do it best. I give it my all. I get hammered. I get sloshed, and I go out there, and maybe I tear it again. But next year, God forbid, I haven't seen these people in a year, but every year we're going to meet here with our weekend warrior post-surgery. Doctor said not to come out here, but we're going to be here, damn it. Minnesota's for me.
Get me a spotted cow.
Yeah.
Go over to Wisconsin, get me a spotted cow. Minnesota. Hockey fans, big hockey fans out there usually.
Yeah. They're like the
They're
Canadian.
volleyball guys who just love hockey.
They're like the Canadians of America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
That's actually perfect. That sums it up for me.
Thank you. Next up, Joe and I's birthplace, Mizzou, Missouri. We snuck into their facility. Shout out to Mizzou.
Tall, lanky, pale kids. That's always
Really?
the Missouri kids.
Oh yeah, HB St. Louis. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that
Always
is.
pale.
Dude, they're good too.
They're good.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're like, you're like, where's this team from?
Gage and I would have
All
played
the
for
time.
HB St. Louis if we. That's where we probably would have played.
Probably. Yeah. I don't know how the team would have.
They kind of remind me.
But
they're
true.
kind of. I would say they're in the same family as the Milwaukee teams.
Yeah.
Same family. They're not like brothers, but they're like distant. They're
It's
like
true.
cousins.
True.
They never. The one thing is they're physical, but they're never hyped up ever. Nobody. I don't know why. Nobody fears them.
Yeah. I
Which
agree.
and then they beat teams.
they
but
don't
no,
get enough
like,
respect.
They also
Yeah,
with the
they're
last
always
time-
under the radar.
under the radar, but you'll never see him day 3 in nationals. That's the problem. Day 1 and day 2, you'll always hear them. They'll always hear in the not the corner, but you always hear the loud games. Everyone kind of rushes. Maybe it's not the last game in pool play, or maybe they are the last game in pool. And a lot of times you'll see them a lot in it. Or but at the same time, they could be the top seed in the pool, and they could be battling it with the second team in the pool because maybe they're not as dominant. You know what I'm saying?
That's one thing. I think they get upset a lot by like second Californian teams. Like the Balboa 17-2s will come and upset the top. St.
And no disrespect.
Top
It just,
Missouri
it's
teams
also,
a lot.
I would say it's not like they're physical, and then it's not like any part of their game is like a huge hole.
Yeah.
But they're just not making like that one step up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They have the physicality, and it's not like they have like no ball control. It's like somewhere in between, but they're just
True.
not making the next step.
Next state up, Nebraska. Obviously, we've been close friends with the Nebraska girls. I have not yet a Nebraska. I mean, maybe at Wapaka we met them, but Nebraska guys, volleyball players. We played pickup one time at Nebraska, but none of those guys were from there, really. But for us, the girls, obviously, big physical specimens, and they all grow up to GBR, yeah, Go Big Red. They all grow up just to go to Nebraska, and to go.
Yeah,
to no
their
other
brothers,
place.
I think, are different stature,
Football players.
and yeah, they tend to probably be O linemen.
100%.
Yeah, you're being raised to go to the University of Nebraska if you're playing volleyball in Nebraska.
Next state, Nevada. Also, becoming a hotbed, especially Las Vegas in terms of teams. They'll always have one big recruit out of Nevada, out of Las Vegas. Always one big recruit. Do they pan out in college? necessarily. I have yet to kind of see that. Maybe I'm not thinking. Just off the top of my head, I can't really think of any. But they always have one big recruit that goes to one of the top schools.
They also are really, really like interested in the sport of volleyball. Like everybody from the Vegas area that I know, they like watch a lot of pro volleyball. They know a lot of like the national team people. I don't know why that is, but a lot of people that I've met from Vegas are like very interested in the sport of volleyball.
I would agree with that. I haven't been around too many people from Vegas, to be very honest, so I'm counting kind of more on you guys.
Okay, next state, New Jersey. New Jersey, we used to live in Rochester, New York, and the experience that we had from New Jersey and the experience that other kids have is, man, those guys got a chip on their shoulder. There's another term I might use for it in terms of one of the podcasts in the most respectful way possible, and I love it. But those kids will chirp, and those kids will do everything in their power, and those boys will get after it. And like I said, there's just maybe a certain term I would use, but I'm not going to use it. But I have all respect to them, and it's different from New Jersey. Like people are like, oh, New York, New Jersey. No, New York, and I'll get to it in a second. The difference, but New Jersey, I would say, is more chirpy, more. I don't want to say gremlin-like, but like a little more just like they don't care, at the end of the day, and they just want to. They just want to take down a lot of the guys.
Like they've been punching up their whole life.
Oh, exactly. Underdogs. Joey?
Joycey. I don't know much.
That's something I realized. Our home state, shout out to New York, the Rochester boys.
People don't understand how big boys volleyball is in New York. Like they sell out. The gym will be packed for any big games in New York, especially in upstate New York. Big schools, if they have a good volleyball team, it'll sell out. And so a lot of those Rochester boys too, they're like basically the East Coast kids who try to act like they're from California too. They're the same way. Like if they're at school, the volleyball kids who play in New York, they act like they're like from California. I would say.
I'll go from more of an outsider perspective. They're also, I think, the funniest people.
Oh, they're hilarious.
In the whole gym. I think they're the funniest people in the whole gym. So shout out to you guys from New York. You guys have always been my favorite teams to like, just people watch. Because like the LIVBC team from my year was hilarious, man.
Dude, and
they were so funny. The pace team for my year, I don't remember them so much. The LIVBC team, I think we were like 14 was the first time they played us, and they all had mohawks. They all had mohawks. They all had headbands. They watched us warm up, and they were like laughing. They're like thinking that they're gonna kill us, and then we beat them. We beat them pretty well. And the dad comes up to us, and he's like, "What in the like?" Starts like going off but the funniest dad, dude. Like, I thought my sons knew how to play. I watched the hitting lines. I said, we're going to smoke these kids. We didn't even get 10 points. And he's like, I'm not paying this type of money for him to lose 25-9, like to a bunch of midgets. He was like, he went off, dude, for like so long. It was so funny. The next year they came and they always had like their setter. Like one year had a full, like he had the tallest mohawk on the team. The next year he came full bowl cut, but like not bowl cut like low, like high bowl cut, like above the ears. Like what in the world,
yarmulke.
Man?
Yeah. Dude,
unbelievable.
They always got nice letty, bro. They always got nice lettuce. I will say, and like now it's mullets. Now they all got mullets and whatnot for sure.
Yeah, those guys are hilarious.
And like you said, there's always like one leader. Sometimes he's like a tweaker. Sometimes he's like the setter. Like, go get Lenny, and they bring this guy over. It's like, what the fuck is this guy?
He comes and he's totally not.
And then he just starts slinging it.
He's not this like. The image you had in your mind of of the leader of the group, it's not ever that. Some guy that you're like, you're Lenny? He's like, yeah, I'm Lenny. Like, you're the captain of this team.
Oh, man.
Like, how did they choose you?
All right.
The coaches also for the New York teams are always hysterical to watch coach.
Oh.
No, they're entertaining as a heck.
Oh, my goodness, man.
Well, they always got one guy, and then they got one pacer.
Yeah.
They got one pacer.
Yes.
He's like in a deep squat, and then he goes up and down the
Yes.
sideline.
Yes, dude, and that.
But he's different.
and he's young.
Yeah.
In my mind, he's young.
Yeah.
In my mind, he's young.
It's true, and it's not like a yelling hype guy. He's just like a pacer, big clapper.
Yeah.
Same with HP St. Louis. Same way actually.
Big clapper.
Always had a clapper. Always had a good clapper pacer at the same time.
Yeah.
Good duo.
He's not. He's never like fully on his seat. His back will never touch the back of a seat, but he's like always on the edge of it and like half in that squat, like you said. And he's just
Also,
yeah.
they always got a team dad or mom who's always on the bench, like you said, who's really into it as
Oh,
well.
that's a good one.
Always do.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. They definitely do.
Yeah.
That's
New
what
York
I've
clubs
noticed.
always have. Yeah, that's a good point.
Some I've noticed, but that's New York for you guys. Get into the Carolinas here. North Carolina, we haven't had much interaction except for we did host a clinic there, and we had about 50 guys and a lot of girls there. We're also going back there, Winston-Salem. Link in the bio if you want to sign up for our camps. There's obviously the Carolinas are a big grass community, so it's not like a lot of beach in indoor. It's a lot of grass in indoor, is what I've noticed. Whether these other states, but even in the Midwest, they're still doing grass and beach. But I haven't seen a lot of beach in terms of. I've seen more grass than beach. Is what I'm saying.
I got a question. You know those
Yeah.
guys from Pottstown that came up to our tent and were saying that they would beat UH? They were
Yeah.
from the Carolinas, right?
I think. No, they were.
They were a
pretty sure
D3
were.
team from.
Yeah, D3 team from.
They didn't even make it to playoffs then. They didn't even make it NCAA tournament.
That was hilarious, actually.
I think they're from North Carolina.
I forget. Damn. This is in a Pottstown vlog, I remember.
Because I think
I
it was
remember.
like something CC.
I don't remember.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that was a
I
random
don't
question.
know. I
But
can't recall either.
I haven't
remember what
had
school they're from.
any interactions with, or sorry, maybe I have, but I can't remember any interactions with North Carolina volleyball players. At least
Yeah, just a lot of hybrid players is what I can kind of say about them.
Yeah.
Next up, Ohio. One time we had a clinic in Ohio in our first tour. And I guess it was like this particular one. I don't know if it was age, but they paid for it specifically, so it's only the club. We're like, all right, fine, or age. We show up. We're like 18 and under. We show up. This guy's got he's a heftier guy for sure. He's 21. Apparently I think he lied about his age or something like that, and he has like this death metal T-shirt. And this guy just hustled, man. Long hair. Oh, my God. I love this guy to death. And for some reason, that stuck with me about Ohio. That, and they got some big boys over there a lot of the time
and that
love chirp
we were
as well.
late
Yeah.
because we didn't calculate the time change of an hour.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, we were late. But I really enjoyed working there. Like the kids were super cool, super engaged, like really, really respectful, really hardworking. So
If
I
you
don't
think
know.
of Ohio,
I don't know
too,
a
it's
lot
a
of like.
blue
Oh,
collar.
you know what? Max Holt. Max Holt.
There you go.
Sam Holt. Cleveland.
Yeah. This is for you. All right, next up.
Cleveland.
Oregon. Oregon is also a rising state for volleyball. A lot more beach volleyball up there. A lot of grass volleyball up there. And a lot of the top players always will migrate down to California and play for Northern California teams. I had one. Mountain View had players. Beta Bay has players. They always migrate down. For some reason, there's not solid teams in Oregon. It would be a state where they needed to pull from all over the state to pull together a good team. But they're always migrating down to California, the best players. Never to Southern California, but Northern California, a lot of top players.
And they play beach volleyball in freezing cold weather.
Oh my God,
What's something about them? Because I don't really know.
they're amphibians. They're the most amphibian because they go like
amphibious are the most amphibious.
Thank you, amphibious, because I'm not thinking like, oh, you go to the sunny beach. No, they go to the cold beach. Then they go to the cold grass. The wet grass is raining all the time. Because I've seen a lot of their tournaments, and it's great run, but you can't control the weather at the end of the day. And then they migrate a lot of the time. So then they're coming down like a tortoise, like a turtle. So they're back and forth and back and forth. So they're like the amphibious. They're the
Okay.
amphibious players of volleyball world.
Do they play volleyball like turtles?
No, they're pretty quick. More like frogs.
Okay.
Very jumpy.
Okay.
Yeah. So far, I've been pretty good. Minnesota, I've been hitting pretty well. My favorite state, my favorite volleyball state in the whole wide world, South Carolina.
A lot of country music stars are from there, you know.
That means nothing to me. That means absolutely nothing to me. Thank you, Joe. For those new followers out there, I've had somewhat of a beef with South Carolina in volleyball, but here's my predicament. I've met a lot of great people from South Carolina. Some great fans. We have a great fans in South Carolina. Great. We're in the grass community a lot. Great grass community in fans wise for us in South Carolina. So this comes with a heavy heart. But South Carolina would have to be my least favorite state to play volleyball in because a couple reasons actually. I don't think that the environment in South Carolina is conducive.
Yeah.
Of spreading the love and the game of volleyball, and I don't think because God, they call hands so tight, and so it comes to a point where it's like it's not even enjoyable. We're out of system, as you know, and we don't like rules. At the end of the day, we're not going to call anything on you if you don't call anything on us, and we're not going to try any janky stuff. We're just let them play. If it's atrocious, you call it. Okay, whatever. Also, they play on the small court. Right, we're small guys, but we like to go with power. And with a smaller court, you can't really do that, and you're prone to a lot more errors, both sides. So I don't think the volleyball is as good. Yeah, you can say it's a little more chippy, choppy. You say you have to have more control, but at the end of the day, rally wise and just the full scope of things, I don't think it makes for better volleyball whatsoever. And 3, I've had a lot of run-ins with every time I go to South Carolina, I end up getting a verbal argument with a lot of people there. And I'm not like a verbal argument kind of guy. I mean, it seemed like it on this podcast. I know I'm a nice guy outside of here. And the damn weather, man. Don't even get me started. There was bugs everywhere. It was so damn hot. Obviously, there's no water.
Me and Joe went to the car to say
water.
we were getting stuff, like almost between every game. Gage never caught on that we were just in the car with the AC going the whole time, and Gage was in the merch tent.
Oh my God, and I'm
Is this the first time we're telling you that? Did you know we were doing that?
Yeah, I don't think he knew.
Yeah, you told me afterwards. And I had this long hair and long beard. I was like, F this and F that. After games, I was like,
ooh, the AC, so nice.
I was like, F this. And then obviously, like when people called stuff tight and maybe more mad, I was like, F these guys. I don't complain a lot, but that's one of them. But at the same time, I don't want to just completely crap on.
Also,
South Carolina
I will say that was probably
there are still a lot of great people.
That was probably the best, most competitive final we had, though.
Also because of small court for sure as well.
Yeah. That was the most challenging game that summer, I think.
Yeah, there's great volleyball players there. Next state, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is also where Pottstown, Rumble, a lot of grass. I don't think I met an indoor person from Pennsylvania.
In terms of volleyball players, though, it's like tall teams. Yorktown, like all those like clubs that come out.
Yorktown.
Massive teams.
Yeah, that's right.
They're massive.
Those guys are big.
They're all like
They're
New York
huge.
teams. Yeah, the East Coast teams, they're just massive. The thing that they struggle with always against.
No,
the
I
West
wouldn't
Coast.
agree. I don't agree. I think that the Midwest teams are taller. Like Milwaukee's the tallest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Sports Performance sometimes can be really tall. And then for sure Yorktown. But I think the New York teams are never like maybe they have a few, but in my experience, the New York teams
Long
weren't
Island,
always
I thought was
giants
tall.
either.
no. They're all a bunch of small Italianos. Look at the deli meat. Got a brat in my left. Got John in my. I guess it's Philadelphia, but also Pennsylvania. Obviously, don't know. There's a lot of religion going on in Pennsylvania. Very small sectors. So
The Mennonites.
yeah. So you meet some interesting people that we're very open to. We're very open to discussing and whatnot. But definitely more interesting people than you maybe
Mitch
meet in
Stahl.
other places.
He's a Mennonite.
Exactly. There you go.
I'm just
right.
kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Mitch.
Next state here, Joe's maybe favorite state, maybe Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah, we loved it there. We were there for
I
a
love
clinic 2 summers ago. There you just have a bunch of like very nice, kind, very respectful people. Hardworking, a lot of hard. Every athlete I've met
Hardworking,
from there.
but also down for a good time.
Yes, both.
They're not just like the nose to the grindstone that like other places.
Good
can be.
personality.
They also, they work, but they're also down for a good time, I will say.
Yeah, the Tennessee culture in general, I think culture plays such an important role in how, in like our interpretation or our perception of athletes that we work with, especially with our camps. Like we very like when we go there, it's like, oh, that group was more like this, that group was more like this, and it's like very easy to tell like just kind of the culture that these kids grew up in. Tennessee, we loved working with all those kids. They're just like hustlers, super fun, like and also big shout out to the Haynes family. Big shout out
to the Haynes family.
Big names in the Tennessee volleyball community over there. So, but yeah, no, like you said, Mike, I think you hit on the point. Like, good time, fun, and just hardworking kids.
What was the name of Uncle Jesse?
Uncle Jesse.
Best Chick-fil-A in the world is in Tennessee.
Maryville.
Yeah, maybe Maryville. And I'll go toe-to-toe with anyone that wants to challenge me on that. Best Chick-fil-A in the U.S.
Next state. For girls, this is a lot easier than guys, but guys is growing. Texas. For girls, same kind of thing as Nebraska. Extremely physical, athletic girls that were bred to go to Texas. UT, not fight up. Yeah?
No.
Horns up.
Hook 'em.
Oh my God, I'm an idiot.
They walk in the gym, everybody turns heads. Everybody's, there's the Texas team. That's like
Texas commit.
You mean like females?
On the female side.
Got it.
Those teams walk in, everybody's all the college coaches are on their court. Everybody's like, oh, Texas team. It doesn't even matter. They don't even have to watch them. It's like they win matches before they even step on the court. Pretty often.
Yeah, I don't know the women's side as well as you guys know it, but shout out to Fana Zhang.
Shout out to Faye, who's behind the camera right now. Love you, Faye. Texas gal herself. Also, they always had the best clubs with TAV, Mad Frog. They always win nationals.
The
most successful. Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to the Mingdom.
But for guys, I mean, I know Merrick went there. I know the setter for Stanford went there. People. I mean,
He's
played
from
for Tejas. From there, my bad.
Austin Juniors is a club that's
Austin Juniors. He went to Austin Juniors.
It's definitely up and coming area. You have some talent pop up here and there, but it's just like it's in those states. It's so difficult to you're not seeing like high level competition every single weekend, any type of and so it's just difficult to develop. And usually when those athletes move on to the next level, it's like there's a little bit of a learning curve because all of a sudden they're in a gym where I think you see this also with a couple other states, but Texas is a huge one where they step into the gym with a lot of high level athletes, and it's just different. It's like they're not used to having a lot of other people at the same level they are. The other thing is a lot of Texas kids leave to go to other clubs too. We had one.
I don't think so now though. It used to be in the day, but now that it's growing, but like you said, it doesn't have an identity yet. Not quite as an identity. Obviously, we're gonna go check it out in the club scene this summer. But like I said, if you ever feel like we're wrong, please comment below and stuff we missed.
Yeah,
maybe
comment
we missed
your
a state,
ideas
maybe we
for
missed
sure.
pronounce, or
I'm
maybe
I'm curious to hear people's ideas of all the different states.
It's true. This is true. Next up, Utah. Obviously, BYU, huge volleyball program there. Definitely a Mormon state, so obviously very family oriented and whatnot. So you always get very very wholesome. Yeah, a lot of church ball, a lot of wholesome kids there.
Playing volleyball out there.
That's true. I didn't even think about the Polynesians, man. Like but so many good Polynesians, but so many like Polynesian church-going legends that back in the day, this guy used to play 9-man or used to play like they never played in like an organized thing, or it was like semi, and he's just a legend in it. You know what
also,
I'm saying?
Also, super cool. I will say that about the Utah people too. They're usually really nice. They don't ever cause any problems. Pretty laid back. I would say that about the Utah people that I know.
100%. Virginia. At first, I was like, Virginia. When we say, hey, we're gonna name the state, but should I? There for us, I think of Coastal, aka Virginia Beach, and I just think of them as the fake Cali boys. The boys who try to be fake Cali. When we played them, they had Brett Rosenmeyer, a lot of guys that went to George Mason with the Justin Bieber haircuts and whatnot. They were beach boys. Don't get me wrong; they seemed like they were Cali boys, and maybe they partied like they were Cali boys, but just weren't quite Cali boys.
I've
But they
never
had
been
a
to
lot of
Virginia Beach,
swagger.
but I heard it's nice.
I bet.
I heard it's nice.
I heard it's almost as nice as South Carolina. Can't wait to go.
That would be something.
Would be, wouldn't it? But also, no disrespect. They also have some solid teams out there. Always solid players. Obviously, a feeder system in George Mason a lot of the time. And always a consistently pretty good team in the Division I level. Last but not least, perfect one to end on, Wisconsin. So you want to lead us off here? Wisconsin.
If you play volleyball in Wisconsin, we know where you are every second weekend of July. You're up at the boat ride. Up in
Wisconsin.
You're enjoying a nice spotted
boat
cow
ride.
up at the boat ride. No, everybody who's playing volleyball there, on the girl side again, you're going to the University of Wisconsin. That's your goal. Everybody watches it. The whole state is behind that program. On the men's side, the Milwaukee teams, they're very similar vibe to the Chicago teams. So it's like tall kids, not great in reception, not a whole lot of ball control, but they're in system in a good situation. You got to be careful because they're going to be physical and big blocks. But again, they struggle against teams that can control the ball. So for them on the men's side, you get big physical guys.
And the
Shout out to Scott Static.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Big
the
shout.
tallest
It's
players
Scotty
in the
to
gym
hide.
for sure.
Also, I first of all, the nicest people ever. Nice
Nicest,
people
but
ever.
also they're on the court. They also they show their emotion more than quiet people.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
Oh, dang nabbit, messed up or something like that. They'll never swear about it, but what I'm saying? Oh, my bad, guys, my bad. Or just something like
Scott
that.
Static.
It's
bro.
okay, what I'm saying?
Legend.
But
so nice.
also,
And they're super honest. Super honest. They'll call everything scores always the same. They're super honest.
it's true. It's true, but it's also another thing where they 3 or 4 nationals, you don't really see them in gold very often. You know what I'm saying? And it comes down to probably the ball control thing. Super physical, good recruits out of high school. And I'm not trying to throw shots. It's just something that have stuck with me that I kind of think of. With that, guys, I think we did a pretty good job. Like I said,
That was
I
fun.
was listening. That was fun. That was good. That was good stuff. And hopefully, like I said, we'll go to more youth tournaments and club tournaments, get a better idea of how it's evolving, and maybe these teams and maybe these states are looking a little differently. But like I said, if we missed any, please leave in the comments. Maybe if we said something wrong about a certain state, or we didn't mention a certain state, leave in the comments. Let us know. We like to do stuff like this. And make sure, again, if you want to see these 3 pretty faces every week, make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications on, so you know it's time, baby. It's if you can't handle the heat time. And also, like we just named all 50 states, pretty much all 50 states, no matter where you're from, you need volleyball gear in order to play volleyball. And with that being said, our friends allvolleyball.com are giving you 20% off with a promo code GWIDDY, GWIDDY, for 20% off. Again, link in the bio. And just remember, guys, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the damn kitchen. This has been another episode presented by allvolleyball.com.